Hello everyone, welcome to today's lesson. You'll need to pause here before you get to write your learning intention and date. So you'll need to get paper, pencil or pen and the dictionary. And our learning intention is to draw inferences and justify with evidence from the text about characters' feelings, thoughts and motives from their actions or words. Pause while you get that together and neatly write it down and underline it. How do we make inferences? So authors can't really tell us everything they want us to know about a story, which means we have to use clues from the text and draw our own conclusions and inferences. Our conclusions or inferences are our own thoughts, not stated in the text. Inference equals text clues, which are actions, thoughts, spoken words, or interactions with other characters, plus our background knowledge. In the following slides, you will see an extract from a text called A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Now a little bit about the author. Frances Hodgson Burnett was born in 1849 in Manchester. But when her father died, Frances's mother emigrated with her children to the United States. Life there was harsh and they were quite poor, but the young Frances would entertain herself and her siblings with stories. And then in 1868, at the age of 18, she went out with her sister to pick grapes and made enough money from that job to buy paper and stamps. She wrote an interesting tale and sent it off to a magazine. Marvelously, her story was accepted, and from that day forward she became the breadwinner in her family, writing up to 6 stories a month. A Little Princess. Once on a dark winter's day, when the yellow fog hung so thick and heavy in the streets of London that the lamps were lighted and the shop windows blazed with gas as they do at night, an odd-looking little girl sat in a cab with her father and was driven rather slowly through the big thoroughfares. She sat with her feet tucked under her and leaned against her father who held her in his arm, as she stared out of the window at the passing people with a peculiar old-fashioned thoughtfulness in her big eyes. She was such a little girl that one did not expect to see such a look on her small face. It would have been an old look for a child of 12, and Sarah Crewe was only 7. The fact was, however, that she was always dreaming and thinking odd things and could not herself remember any time when she had not been thinking things about grown-up people and the world they belonged to. She felt as if she had lived a long, long time. At this moment, she was remembering the voyage she had just made from Bombay with her father, Captain Crewe. She was thinking of the big ship, of the lascars passing silently to and fro on it, of the children playing about on the hot deck, and of some young officers' wives who used to try to make her talk to them and laugh at the things she said. Principally, she was thinking of what a peculiar thing it was that at one time one was in India in the blazing sun, and then in the middle of the ocean, and then driving in a strange vehicle through strange streets where the day was as dark as the night. She found this so puzzling that she moved closer to her father. "Papa," she said in a low, mysterious little voice which was almost a whisper, "Papa." "What is it, darling?" Captain Crewe answered, holding her closer and looking down into her face. "What is Sarah thinking of?" Now it's your turn to reread the passage. After rereading it, look at the questions. Remember, you have to write the answers in full sentences and take care with the spelling and punctuation. Question 1. What is the weather like in London? Question 2. How old is Sarah Crewe? Question 3. Who is traveling with her? Question 4. Use a dictionary to find the meaning of the word peculiar. Question 5. Did Sarah Crewe live in India? Use words from the text to support your answer. Question 6. What is Captain Crewe like as a person? Look at the way he speaks to Sarah. Florence Nightingale is the one-star task. Florence Nightingale. The Nightingale family lived in a big house in Derbyshire. They were so rich they bought a bigger house in Hampshire. Florence was a very lucky girl. She had lots of toys and pets to play with, and she had 27 cousins. Florence was taught reading, maths, and other subjects by her father, because in those days girls weren't taught much. This teaching worried Florence's mother, and she said, "No one likes clever girls." She thought girls should learn to play the piano, embroidery, and how to arrange flowers. When she was a little older, Florence started visiting poor and sick people in her town. She liked helping them. Then she decided she wanted to do more of this work. "I must work in a hospital now," she said. Both of her parents were now very cross. They didn't want their daughter to become a nurse. Her mother said, "The shame of it! You might as well be a kitchen maid." Florence began to study nursing in secret. She worked early every morning and late every night. Florence soon heard about the war between Russia and Turkey. "Soldiers are dying. I must do something," she said. Florence arrived at a hospital in Scutari on the 4th November 1854. The hospital was dark and filthy. Soldiers lay all around wounded and dying. More soldiers were arriving all the time. Everything was dirty. There was hardly any clean water, no medicines, no bandages, no soap or towels. Instead of getting better, the soldiers got worse. Florence began to help the soldiers by cleaning and making them healthy meals. Then she bought new sheets and clothes. She hardly ever stopped to sleep. Each day there were new problems to sort out. To make things even worse, some of the doctors and army officers didn't want to help Florence. The injured soldiers loved Florence. She did everything she could to help them get better. She asked for books and games and a chef to be sent from England. Every single evening she walked through the ward to say goodnight. The soldiers called her the Lady with the Lamp. It's your turn to reread the text. When you're done, read through the questions carefully and look in the text before writing your answer in full sentences. Question 1. The Nightingale family had 2 houses. Where were they? Question 2. How was Florence's education different from yours? Question 3. How did Florence's parents feel about her becoming a nurse? Question 4. Why did Florence's mother say she might as well be a kitchen maid? Question 5. Describe the hospital. Question 6. Why did the soldiers not recover from their injuries? Question 7. How did Florence help the soldiers? Question 8. Why do you think the doctors and army officers didn't want Florence to help? Question 9. Why was Florence called the Lady with the Lamp? Question 10. Later on in her life, Florence received a medal for her work. Why do you think she was given this medal?